Vitaly has found God and he is seeking bail, according to his defense attorneys. And this is just as we have news that new charges may be headed down the pike for Vitaly in the Philippines. Of course, this is the legal mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney here in Asia. And we've been following these nuisance streamers like Vitaly, like Johnny Somali on my channel from start to finish, all the way from beginning to sentencing. So we have an update today in the case of Vitaly, which has been really boiling over the last 2 weeks as the legal teams are now sparring with the prosecution, submitting an information this week on 3 counts of unjust vexation, while the defense is coming up with any reason to get Vitaly out from behind bars from serving time in a Philippine prison. And today we also had an interview, and this interview was quite telling, that just came out with the secretary in the Philippines, as well as comments from Vitaly's lawyers. That was, of course, to give credit here, aired on ANC. A changed guy, lawyer says Russian vlogger Vitaly seeks forgiveness, had no criminal intent. So I'm going to give you guys a translation from some of these interviews and these articles. Obviously, thank you to members of my team that have translated that and fans that have translated that. Thank you so much for that. And by the way, if you want to support my team that's been translating and doing a lot of work and other stuff related to Johnny Somali and Vitaly, you can head over to Ko-Fi/Andrew Esquire and drop a donation for the team. So we'll start out here with a little bit of the translation. I'm going to read out what was said about Vitaly. So this is reported today. It is possible that additional cases will be faced by the Russian vlogger who was arrested for harassing Filipinos, according to the Department of Interior and Land Government. His lawyer, Vitaly's lawyer, told the news that Vitaly has changed his ways and is asking for forgiveness from everyone he had aggrieved. This is reported, of course, by Lisa Anguino, saying it's been 2 months spent in jail in the detention facility of the Bureau of Immigration. Complaints were filed against Vitaly after he harassed Pinoys in a mall and restaurant in Taguig City while live streaming. Next week, the hearing will start for 3 counts of unjust vexation, which should be happening very shortly. The prosecutor has already dismissed the charge of theft, but it's very likely, very possible that the vlogger is going to face additional charges, which could include what happened in Boracay. After investigation by the prosecution, said the undersecretary, Rumula, there are a lot of witnesses that came out, so they are currently being examined for the possible merits of the case. They're about to file it. Vitaly's lawyer told ABS-CBN News that Vitaly has gone through big changes during his 2 months in jail. He said if he is given the chance, he wants to personally ask for forgiveness from those he aggrieved. His attorney says he is better now because he has found his faith. We are a Christian nation. We believe in forgiveness, and I hope that we can arrive in forgiveness because this guy is really a changed guy and wants to seek forgiveness. In one statement, Rumula confirmed that he received a letter from Vitaly asking him to drop the charges. However, his lawyer had a clarification. So we talked about that, by the way, last video and last couple of videos, but there's a clarification. So they want to clarify the focus is not about dropping the cases, but forgiveness. So of course, this is after people gave him the pushback on this, and we covered this, and this information got out there about dropping the cases. So now it appears they're trying to shift the tactic to forgiveness and Christianity and try to make it not about dropping the cases. So, we can continue the case, right? Because it's about forgiveness and it's about moral forgiveness, which is something that happens in your heart, not necessarily in a courtroom, right? Anyways, his attorney also filed for a motion for bail. If found guilty, he may be facing a sentence of up to 18 months. A year and a half in the Philippines. So this is a very important turning point. And I want to bring this up. And of course, as always, I do have a PowerPoint here. So let me throw this up on screen. And this is, of course, an update as of today. So the important thing to note here about Vitaly is right now he's got these 3 counts of unjust vexation. We talked about that. Those informations are supposed to be filed this week, sometime this week, maybe later this week, Thursday, Friday, we'll see. And the estimate, once again, on the low end is 1 to 3 months behind bars or up to 18 months. Now, what we have today is the fact that new charges are coming, which is very interesting because many people have been asking questions. Well, what about Boracay? There's a lot of things that went down in Boracay. And what are we going to do about that? Well, it seems like those may be able to come in the future. And in fact, we saw this in the Johnny Somali case where they initially pursued one charge, just a very simple, easy to prove charge of obstruction of business, and then they added on charges later. So this may be how it works in the Vitaly case, where they initially are going to go with something very easy, unjust vexation. That is a layup in the Philippines. It's been described as one of the easiest and most simple things to prove. So they're starting with the simplest thing to prove, but that doesn't prevent them from adding more later if the prosecutor feels it's justified. And indeed, many, such as you guys in the comments below, feel it's justified. In fact, if you feel more charges are justified, let me know in the comments. So they're also claiming he reads the Bible daily, and they're obviously appealing to the Philippines as a Christian country. As someone who spent a lot of time in the Philippines, I will indeed say the Philippines is a very Christian country. A lot of folks, as an American, a lot of folks point to America, Europeans, for example, point to America as being a quote unquote very Christian nation or Judeo-Christian nation. I would say by comparison, we all fall short of the Philippines. The Philippines probably falls short only of the Vatican City when it comes to observance. And I just noticed that during, for example, Easter week, and how serious Easter week was taken, where nothing was really open. It was very, going really anywhere on that weekend was almost a no-go, whereas in the United States, then pretty much everything is open. You might find one place closed on Easter Sunday, a couple places, but by and large, America is open during Easter, not in the Philippines. And to me, and this is just something that this is my personal opinion, that appears to be the strategy of his attorney, right? And obviously, an attorney would want to appeal to anything you can appeal to, and that's something you certainly could appeal to, which is the moral sentiment of a nation saying, okay, think about this way, right? But once again, that's not the only factor that would chime in here. And I will also say that, frankly, the individual morality does not necessarily echo in what legal sentencing should be. But that going on, Vitaly is attempting to petition for bail. Bail is not a right for foreigners. Now, bail is enshrined in the Constitution for Filipinos, but it's not a right for foreigners. And there's a very good reason for that. And I'm going to read you and thank you to Angel Chase for sending this over to me. This is a section on bail from the Philippines, which is factors in granting or denying bail. So the judge considers the following when looking at bail: the nature of the deportation charge, the immigration status of the foreigner, the physical condition and age of the foreigner, humanitarian considerations, and such other considerations that will guide the commissioner in determining whether the foreigner is a flight risk, underlying flight risk, and or a threat to the public interest. Well, I think Vitaly is trying to focus on his physical condition and his humanitarian consideration. So he's trying to say, oh, I am, I'm changed, the kind of moral side of it there. And also I'm in such a bad mental condition. I'm breaking down. I have mental health issues. But the problem is a lot of these things are against him. First of all, he is not elderly. He is a person who styles himself as a healthy male. A healthy adult male is the prime candidate for staying behind bars. That's the prime category of a normal age adult male behind bars. That's kind of what the general expectation is. The immigration status, obviously, he does not have a business there, a wife there. He doesn't have some sort of support network. So there's nothing that's going to benefit that I would see to benefit that. Obviously, he's already been branded or is being branded a undesirable alien. So the nature of the deportation, well, this is a big thing for him because nobody will take him. So the question is, like, they wouldn't even know where to send him if he went off and what's going on. So I don't think that helps him. But the last one, flight risk, I think is the biggest step against Vitaly because he has funds. He has money. Vitaly is not broke. Vitaly does have money. And if they do let him out from behind bars, it is highly likely that Vitaly will try some method to escape the Philippines, some method to get out of there and to escape any sort of punishment. He absolutely 100% has the resources to attempt to do that. There are very many high-profile cases of people that have done that lately. There's, in fact, very good cases that have been recently where people have fled the country. There's a Chinese national that did that on some very serious charges. That's a whole other story. But I think that is the factor. If if I was the judge, that I would look at and saying, hey, he is really motivated to get out of there. And he is someone that has the means to do it and all the incentive to do it. And as soon as he does that, he can turn around and brag about escaping from the Philippines. He can turn around and rub it in their face, just like the other nuisance streamers, just like the Johnny Somalis of the world that get away. And as soon as they get out of the country, they turn around and they mock the people of that country. I absolutely think he should not be granted bail. But what do you think in the comments below? Let me know, and I'll catch you on the.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?